So we've got, as a CPO, when do you consider a product operations function? Looking forward to the next book. Yes, writing a book on product operations with Denise right now. Denise Tills, who was our VP of product at Products Labs and is consulting now on her own. We set up product operations in so many companies. More recently, we were working with Insight Venture Partners and pretty much did product operations for all their companies there in the growth stage. And then I've done it at large enterprises as well. When do you need it? It's when you start, you should do it early. Let's say this, earlier earlier is better. Let's go that way. You don't typically need a lot of product operations when you're a small startup and you can turn to somebody and be like, hey, Joe, like what's going on over here? Like what, that's too small. But what happens is when you start to scale or you're anticipating scaling, and let's say you're getting to tens, like 10 product managers more, as a chief product officer, you can't keep up with all the things that are going on, right? It starts to get too big. That's where product operations comes into play. And you want to start it earlier so that when you get to 10, when you get to 12, when you get to 20, you already have it. Because otherwise, you're going to be rushing to put it in and it's going to be annoying. So that doesn't mean that you have to start with everything. When we talk about product operations, we talk about a couple key spots. One, you need to have data and insights so that you can get the data on what your products are doing to perform. So I want to be able to check my portfolio strategy against my business goals. I want to make sure that we are capacity planned and aligned correctly with my teams. I want to make sure that certain products are generating the revenue we expected them to. I want to see like where my money is coming from, from a customer segment perspective. All of those things you need to instrument, right? Like you need to be able to get the data out of systems, put them into dashboards and be able to look at it correctly. So that also helps the team make decisions, right? So you need to have a good set of tools set up so that people can get the data, read the data, adjust the data, and figure out which way to go. Then we also look at things like customer research. So I think about those things as let me get the internal data of what we're doing out, and then there's the external data. It doesn't live in our company. We got to go find it. So then we think about streamlining customer research, bringing in market research, anything like that. That falls into another bucket. And then our last bucket really is scaling through processes and tools. Now, depending on what organization you like, what problems you have to fight, you may start at a different place. And that's okay. So when you're small, maybe you start with data and insights. I always say if you're going to enter the growth stage, like that's really where you should start. Because if you don't understand how your portfolio is performing against your business goals, it's going to be really, really hard to correct that if you keep going down the wrong path for like 4 years, and you will not grow and people will get mad and your board members will get mad. So like that's something you got to do early and make sure that you actually instrument it early. So it's like when I need to know how these things are going and I can't track that on my own because I'm too busy, I have too much of a team, I've got too much going on, that's really when you need product operations. So it's not like a hard and fast rule, but I say like when your team starts to really start scaling and you've got more things on than you can check in on every day, like good sign to start somewhere. And you don't have to put all three in at once. It's about starting where things are breaking and then adding to it as you go.